Hello and welcome to the Daily Draft, where we take Magic one draft at a time. My name is Morgan, I play Magic, and we are in a Battle for Zendikar Swiss queue. You can tell I'm recording this before Wednesday because, well, if it was Wednesday, I'd be playing Legendary Cube. I love Cube and all its shapes and sizes. A little skeptical about Legendary Cube, but you know me, I give everything a fair chance, and I don't quite remember if the deck has nickel ball, or if the cube has nickel balls in it, and if it doesn't, well, I'll be sad, but I'll still play it, and I'll still draft Grixis, probably. Anyway, we're waiting for 2 more people to join this queue. I'll see you then. Ooh, starting out with a spicy one here. Conduit of Ruin is great. It is card advantage wrapped up in a neat 5/5 for 6 package. Well, not card advantage so much as card selection, given that when you cast it, first of all, casting as opposed to entering the battlefield is a pretty important distinction. When you cast it, you can search your library for a card with converted in a cost of 7 or greater, reveal it, shuffle your library, and put that card on top of it. So it's a little bit, it's not straight card advantage, but it does get you bombs, and you might be able to cast it next turn even. Pretty happy following it up with a Hedron Archive here. There's an Eldrazi Devastator and an Eyeless Watcher as well as a Rot Shambler, which is pretty good in the Eyeless Watcher decks, but Hedron Archive is just a solid ramp spell as well. And we can't really rely on Conduit of Ruin solely for our ramp. As the first creature or spell you cast, each turn costs 2 less to cast. We're just going to take some brown mana here. And Eldrazi Devastator is probably like the card that I play if I just don't have any other options. Hopefully I will have some other options. Well, here there is a Sheer Drop, a Gideon's Reproach, and a Life's Ranger that I'm looking at. Vampiric Rites is pretty sweet, but not nearly as strong as Gideon's Reproach. There's also a Kozilek Sentinel, which is a pretty sweet payoff card for the Devoid deck, but not something I'm super interested in picking up this early. I'm just going to take the removal. Card's pretty good. Well. So Angel of Renewal is in my color. The one colored spell that I have right now. Complete Disregard is pretty good, but I think I like the Angel of Renewal better. So I'm going to take it. Having cheap flyers is pretty nice. Pretty easily just taking up a Kozilek Channeler here. Let's see. Infuse with the Elements is pretty sweet, but not necessarily what this deck is interested in doing. Vestige of Emrakul is just worse than Kozilek Channeler in that it's another color, and also it's like a little bit smaller. Here I'm just going to take Core Entanglers. It's a pretty strong card. Better than the rest of the cards in the pack for the deck that I'm currently drafting, which is a white Eldrazi deck. Fun. On the bright side, though, if we open something like a Quarantine Field, you can play it pretty easily. Same for Emiria Shepherd. If we get a, let's see, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, Stasis Snares are fantastic because you can process them. So, great with your rune processors, etc. But, yeah, I think this is a pretty solid start. It's kind of a weird deck right now, but it looks sweet, and that's what matters. Alright, let's see. There's a Lifespring Druid, which is fine. There's also a Jaddi Offshoot. Vestige of Emrakul is fine. I kind of want to just take the Incubator Drone, though. I think it's a little bit better in this situation. I'm not... Yeah, I think we take the Incubator Drone. It's a little bit better in the rampy sort of decks. Definitely taking a Merc Strider, and happy I picked up a blue card. Skyline Cascade is fine. Not, like, overwhelming, but definitely a reasonable card. The fact that it enters the battlefield tapped is only slightly a downside. I'll just take a Dispel here for the sideboard. Although I have played against a person playing Dispel main deck, and it was a blowout, so yeah, just fine taking a Scour from Existence here. 2 to 4 turn. Sure, whatever. Okay, whatever. Ooh, jetty offshoot. So we're really looking for, something to do on our top end. Eldrazi sky spawners, stuff like that. In this next pack. As well as, like, just flyers in general. Sky spawner is obviously one of the better ones for this deck, especially since we don't really have a lot of low end yet. But I'd also take, like, shadow gliders or courier griffins as well. Alright, well, it is not necessarily a flyer. It has the potential to be one. There's a coastal discovery in this pack, and I'm quite happy to take it over, like, Sunken Hollow, Kozilek's Channeler, Stone Fury. Yeah, Oracle of Dust is probably, like, one of the better cards for this deck in the pack. I'm not even sure I'm playing white, necessarily. I could take a Gideon's Reproach here. I'm thinking I want a Pilgrim's Eye, though, just because our deck is pretty high-end intensive, and we're not sure completely what colors we're playing, so having Pilgrim's Eye to get lands to build us up to things like Angel of Renewal or Conduit of Ruin, I think is pretty important. So we're going to take this over a couple of removal spells. Ooh. Hello. Alright, Bane of Valaghet is what we're looking for. Whenever it attacks, defending player exiles 2 permanents he or she controls. This card can be played on turn 5 with a Hedron Archive, which is kind of the nut. So, yeah, pretty happy to have it. Welcome to the team, buddy. Alright, so in this pack we have a Nullifier, a Clutch of Currents, and a Dampening Pulse. I think Clutch of Currents is the best card, although both Dampening Pulse and Nullifier are pretty sweet, especially since I could play black. Not sure. Yeah, pretty happy to just take a Clutch of Currents, though. I love me some Awaken spells, like Mana War with haste, Moldrifter with haste. That's 5 times bigger. Pretty good. Alright, so we have Shadow Glider here. There's also Reclaimer, McKinley Patrol. I do have some pretty sweet things to reclaim, which makes me, like, take a good look at this one. Would I rather have that than, like, a Shadow Glider? It's a good question. I think I would. It's a 2/5, which is pretty big, and we've got options for stuff to get back. Here, I'm pretty happy to pick up a Shadow Glider, though. Like, love me flyers in this particular deck. Huh. There is an Evolving Wilds in this pack. I'm pretty happy to take it. There's an Anticipate as well as a Blighted Fen, but especially when I'm kind of, like, lightly touching some colors or potentially picking up cards of other colors, I'm happy with an Evolving Wilds. Here, there is a Skyrider Elf, which might be worth splashing, especially since I already have a bunch of 5s. So, like, Ghostly Sentinel is a little worse. Is it worth it? Yeah, I think Skyrider Elf is a better pickup than Ghostly Sentinel for sure. We might not end up playing it, but it's something to consider. I'll take an Oracle of Dust, and this really kind of late Sheer Drop. Like, Sheer Drop isn't the best removal spell in the set, but it's definitely not the worst. So, we got a couple sweet Awaken cards, a Wavewing Elemental that I'm mildly interested in, and like an Eldrazi Devastator. Yeah, I'll take the Wavewing Elemental. Especially when I'm not quite sure that I'm going to be playing, like, heavy white. I'd like a flying finisher for sure. This next pack we're looking for things like, let's see. Benthic Infiltrator. Woodland Wanderer is pretty great. I liked Helmar Tidecaller a lot too, though, especially since I have 3 Awaken spells right now. And Woodland Wanderer is kind of just a big dude. So, yeah, I think I'm going to take the Helmar Tidecaller here. It's pretty strong with all of my Awakening cards. Yeah, so we're just going to take it. There's a Ruin Processor in this pack. There's also a Hero of Gomafada, which is pretty fun, but I don't know if it's what we're looking for. I mean, the card's big. So is a Ruin Processor. I think I just take the Ruin Processor. Ah! Success! Alright, so here we have a Drowner of Hope. There's also another Evolving Wildlands pack. Rot Shambler, I guess. Yeah, pretty happy to take a Drowner of Hope. Sure, I'll take a Breaker of Armies. We don't need any low end at all. Alright, so interesting choice. There's a Complete Disregard, which is probably pretty good in my deck. I'm guessing there's also a Cork Castigator and a Spell Shrivel. I think I just take the Complete Disregard, though. Like, this card's reasonable removal. I have plenty of mana fixing. Well, there is a Tide Drifter in this pack, which would be pretty great, I think. There's also a Canopy Vista, which splashes Skyrider Elf, but I think I just definitely want this Tide Drifter. Tide Drifter is pretty sweet in this deck, I think. Fertile Thicket, or Rising Miasma. Do I have a Rising Miasma already? I don't. I think Rising Miasma is just a better card to pick up. I'll take an Anticipate, sure. This deck is a little weird right now, so Anticipate is fine. I'll take a Felidar Cub for the board. Probably not playing this card. Probably not playing this card. Probably not playing this card. Alright, sweet. Our deck is looking like a deck, sort of. He dropped that removal spell. Rising Miasma is actually pretty sweet in this deck. Do we want an Oracle of Dust in this deck? Especially since we already have Ulamog's Reclaimer and a bunch of other 5s. I'm going to say no. I think we have some sweet Eldrazi, some sweet other top end, plus a couple of reasonable things to do early game. Like, Clutch of Currents is definitely something that I could see doing early. Because you can get it back with Tidecaller. I could also take out Core Entanglers and put in Rising Miasma, but I think also looking at our green, it's decent, but our white is definitely better. It's got a couple removal spells and a couple flyers, so that's what we're gonna do. So we're just gonna add some lands. 1, 6, 10, 8, 10. There it is. Okay. We'll submit that, and I will see you guys in round 1.